Which are the most underrated urethane bowling balls ever? Urethane has obviously exploded in popularity in the last few years, and in recent years the big names have been the pitch black and of course the purple hammer. In the heyday of urethane, it was balls like the original hammer urethane and the rhino, but what about the urethane balls that were very good but flew a bit under the radar, or those urethane balls that many just forget were very good? The best balls always stick in the minds of most, but over the years we've seen some fantastic urethane balls released. So in this video I've picked out what I think are some of the most underrated urethane bowling balls. Nobody could have predicted what the resurgence of urethane has done to the game and how one ball can essentially change the entire sport. So much so, rules have had to be put in place to try and curb its impact. It's still unclear what the future of urethane might look like long term. We may well get a full urethane ban in the future, or indeed more restrictions on when and what types of urethane can be used. It will be interesting to see what happens now the USBC have brought in these new rules for 2026 and what potential rules they could bring in based on the feedback received. But for now, let's begin this video and take a trip down memory lane as we start with number 1, the Storm Natural. The Storm Natural was released all the way back in 2009, and while it was a popular ball, I still think it's underrated for a couple of reasons. Firstly, you had the Natural, which was a solid urethane that I think was really ahead of its time. Back in 2009, you had Ryan Simonelli, who broke the mold by using the Natural to great success at the Cheetah Championship. Now it's crazy to say it now, but back then, players just weren't using urethane in this way on shorter patterns. Simonelli's success brought him a second place finish, but his urethane tactic was so effective it caught the eye of many at that event. It didn't take long for people to start copying him, and the Natural soon became a popular ball. Rhino Page won a title with it at the Viper Championship, and suddenly people realised that urethane was very effective on those type of patterns. A year later, Storm brought out a Pearl version. Now these two balls really did start the urethane craze, in particular the first Storm Natural. It obviously prompted Storm to then develop the pitch black, but I think we could have had a very different sport if the Natural had never existed. And that's why I think it's underrated, because the pitch black and the purple hammer are always mentioned. But I think people seem to forget the Natural really paved the way and was a hit on the PBA Tour and worldwide. This was my favourite ball for a long time. I had a 299 with it and a couple of 800s. I just loved it, and like I said, this ball really started the urethane craze. Number 2, the Zen U. Next up is the Zen U. The Zen line is amazing and the Zen U is no exception. It's very strong for urethane, but I absolutely love this ball. 900 Global themselves said that this core and cover combination will excel on short patterns and over, under or cliffed house conditions, and I can testify that that statement is spot on. I've used this in centres with over-under house shots and it works really well. It's like having the strength and power of a reactive in your hand, but still that controllable urethane motion. I think this ball is very underrated, and I'd love to see another version of this released, and to be honest, even just another urethane type ball from 900 Global. This is always in my bag when I'm at centres that have a cliffed house shot. Number 3, the fast pitch. As I mentioned earlier, the big hitter in the urethane world is obviously the pitch black. This prompted Storm to release a few other pitch balls, but they weren't really anywhere near as successful. Some weren't particularly good, others were, but were a bit more niche. For example, the Fever pitch was a good ball, but only on the right or certain type of condition. The fast pitch was released in 2020 and it was a solid effort from Storm. A lot of people really liked this ball and had good success with it. I haven't used it myself, but I'd be interested to try it. From what I can tell, it did give bowlers something different to the pitch black, as it went longer and was slightly stronger on the back end. I think the biggest problem is the pitch black was so good that any attempts to bring out another pitch ball do naturally pale in comparison, but I think that this was still a decent ball that is underrated. And while we're talking about urethane bowling balls, let's talk for a moment about not urethane, because of course Hammer have released the new blue and now the new 2.0, which both aim to mimic the urethane motion without actually being urethane. These are both very interesting balls, and in actual fact I've done a video where I review the Hammer NU 2.0 and compare it to the new blue. I discuss everything about this ball and whether it will be a viable urethane replacement and whether it should be in your bag moving forward. So if that sounds interesting, you can watch that full review video by clicking the link above. Number 4. The Hot Cell. Finally, we have the Rotogrip Hot Cell. The Hot Cell features the nucleus core made famous throughout the entire cell line, and this ball packed a big punch for urethane. However, I do think this one was a bit hit and miss for people. It was a love or hate, and it really depended on whether it matched up to your game or not. It seemed like you either scored really well with it, particularly on sports shots, or that you just found it too inconsistent. But I still think it was a decent ball overall that did work on sports shots. I think it was about figuring out whether this would fit your style or not. It's a ball that technically would still work well today, and overall I do think that it was underrated. And so that brings us to an end of this list. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'm sure you've got some opinions on this one, so please let me know in the comment section below what your favourite urethane balls are, and also which ones you think are the most underrated. Let me know if you agree with my list, and if you have enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of my future videos. There's going to be more videos just like this one coming your way very, very soon, and I'd love to hear all of your suggestions. So if you've liked this video and want to see something similar, or you have any ideas, please let me know your thoughts. Well, that is going to do it from me for today, and as always, thank you bowling fans, and see you all next time.